Hello, and welcome to my storage unit, aka my garage. So welcome to my warehouse, aka my two-car garage. It's nothing fancy in here. A lot of the things that you're going to see are items that I have repurposed, things that I've gotten at estate sales, yard sales, thrift stores. And that's why a lot of the things don't match. And I think that's perfectly okay. Use what you have. Try not to buy anything unless you have to. That's always the name of my game. Unless it's going to make your life easier. So let me show you what I do use. So these white units are actually from IKEA. I'm not sure if they're a wardrobe or a pantry system. We had these at our old house and we use them for pantry on some of them, and then also used other ones for kids' toys and games and stuff like that. We didn't have a whole lot of storage at our old house, so when we moved here, they became the perfect storage for all of my merchandise. So what I really like about these is they have these pull-out drawers. You can see everything nice and easy. Kind of nice and easy. So I used to sell a ton more plush, and this used to be a lot better organized, and what I used to have it sorted by was like Disney character plush, animated plush, plush with tags, bears and bunnies, and then within each of the totes, I have like dogs and cats and stuff like that. So I don't use a SKU system or anything. I just have a system that to me makes sense by grouping things into like categories. This next unit has loveys and baby toys, stuff like that in it. And below it, I have baby blankets, and I've kind of sort of organized them by color, which makes them a little bit easier to find. And down at the bottom is just the larger blankets, and then like larger kids blankets. Up here is just kind of like some flex space. It's got some stuffed animals and larger blankets. I think there's a globe in there right now, and then extra packing supplies that wouldn't fit where they're supposed to go. Car mats. It's kind of like wherever things fit, they sit. And up at the very top, more stuffed animals and then more items that I have for sale. Over here is a lot of games and toys. Things that could break possibly if I put them in a bin. Not everything is breakable, but some of these things are. And you see I have a lot of things that are in boxes. So you can see that I have these things all kind of stood up. And again, these are pull-out drawers, which is really nice. And this is not particularly organized, but you can really see everything that's in there. And then same thing with down here. More toys. And then down at this bottom space is just more kind of like flex space. So it's okay to me if things aren't exactly within their category, as long as I can find them. I have some heavier, small appliances, like this toaster and this slow cooker. And then there's this giant phone right next to that Sesame Street toy. Again, as long as I know where things are at, it's okay. You can see this bag has had it. It's been hit with the ladder a few too many times. But sometimes I'll hang things on the shelves. So I have like this little hook that you can get just from Dollar Tree. I hung a bag on it and it's got this track set in here, which I need to get a new bag for that. But so like it's something really large and it can hang. All right, there it goes. So this shelf has a lot of things that need to stand up. Some things I put into like poly mailers or mailers like this if I don't want them to scratch. Things like plates or planners, things like that. So basically anything that you don't want to get crushed, I have just stacked up just like that. And again, there's some more breakables in here, like glassware, a little lamp, this clock. Things that I don't want to get broken, they sit nicely in this pull-out shelf. Even more right there. It's kind of like rinse and repeat. This is all the houseware kind of items. And then I try to put like the large things up top or down at the bottom, or things that just might take a while to sell. They sit up there. So this is Electronic Land, aka Best Buy, Radio Shack, Circuit City. It's all right here, basically. I've got this under the bed storage unit kind of thing that I've got all these CDs and DVDs and discs sorted into. Just a wicker basket. I don't know where this came from. Got some larger items. Smaller electronics, I like these little plastic drawers. For anything that's small, can go into these kind of units. Then I have this whole tower of more electronics. The shallow drawers get shallow things. Like these little cords. Remotes. Things that you don't want to put in a giant tote and then it gets lost. It goes into something like this. The bulkier things I can put in these chunkier drawers. It's just all about what fits where. Welcome to Partland, the land of parts. So this is like all the parts, and it kind of wraps around the corner that I have, and I have it more or less sorted out by what they are. So if it's a vacuum part, a food processor part, coffee maker part, it goes in separate bins. And that's for the most part. There are a few, once again, flex bins. This is all vacuum parts. This is my flex bin. Like, I'm not going to have a whole bunch of Christmas light parts or kitty litter parts, for example. And those things go in there. More vacuum parts. And then, again, things that are going to be hard to find if they're in a giant bin, I put in these plastic drawers to make it easier to grab and find. So here's a good example. Like this little cap, that would get lost in a big bin. This little hose, that might get lost in a big bin. But it fits perfectly right there. And then I also have some of these smaller plastic containers on the top. And those hold things that are a little more fragile, such as these computer boards, motherboards, circuits, whatever you want to call those. And then things that could send you to the hospital to get a tetanus shot, for example, like this blade. I hand it to a bin and come across that. And I could wrap it, of course, but I like to make sure what I'm shipping out is the exact item that's shown in the photo, so there we go. No, none of these bins are labeled, but I do know what's in everything. I think if you are having somebody else work with you, someone else that's helping you ship, that would definitely help, or if you just want that for your own visual sanity. Okay, going around this corner is more parts. This is something that I do like right here, is this hanging shoe pocket thing, and I put some Barbie dolls in there. You could also put any other kind of small toy. And then I have more things hanging, such as these Hoover parts. More parts, more plastic drawers. Nothing fancy, nothing exciting. I do have more electronics down here. These are VCRs, DVD players, stuff like that. They wouldn't fit in the electronics area, but here they are. Yes, parts, and more parts. About 2 full shelving units full of parts. Drawers, tiny parts go in here. I just got this one, kind of like the flex space for large items up here, because I'm not going to dig for parts way up there. That's above my head. I don't know if I can really show this, how tall these units are. I'm about 5'2", and yeah, this shelving unit is above my head quite a bit. I think the ceilings in here are like 13 or 15 feet, something like that. It's fantastic, actually, because I can really get vertical. I got the tallest shelving units that I could find. I'll try to link what I do have and that you can buy. All of these metal shelving units either came from Walmart or Sam's Club, and I believe they were like 70 bucks or less. And then all of these plastic drawers and things like that, you can get them directly from Walmart, Target, wherever. I've got pretty much all of them at thrift stores, yard sales, estate sales, stuff like that for a couple bucks a piece. Because if you're going to buy them brand new, they're going to get pretty expensive, and if you have to buy them brand new, I would recommend only getting what you need at a time, because you can always get more later, and they do not have to match. They do not have to match. I'm going to do my best to show you what this is. There's not a whole lot of room in this garage, depth-wise, with all the other stuff in here. So this is another plastic storage unit, and it's got toys in it, and I've got more dolls, like dolls in sets. Then I've got a drawer of baby toys. Cars, those are all like in here. And then the larger toys are in the larger drawers. We got some more of the larger baby toys, larger train sets, large plastic toys in these crates. Again, using what I had. Large Nerf guns and large baby toys. All of the books that I have, I don't sell a ton of books, but I have them in these plastic crates. I don't want to put anything in cardboard if I can help it. Because of bugs and moisture and everything else. But you can just pull these out, which is nice. When you can see all the books. Again, using what you have. This is just a plastic drawer from one of those plastic drawers, but the shelving unit had broke itself. But this plastic thing was fine, so I put books in it. And it works just fine for holding the books. Tall unit here. It's actually, I think, 2 units or 3 units stacked on top of each other. I've got silverware in here, some pens, knives, and then just random things from here on out, depending on the size of the item, where it'll fit. And again, the bigger items down at the bottom. My Sephora Ulta area, anything that's health and beauty, cleaning, it's all in this area. I have it mostly sorted out by what the item type is, like lotions, body things, cleaning. This is all makeup. That's more cleaning stuff. Things that I don't want to get damaged are in these drawers. So these are all hairbrushes and hair things, like hair dye, mirrors. And then things that I don't want to be contaminated by the scents of other things, like anything that goes in your mouth, like floss and picks and toothbrushes. I don't want that to be anywhere near anything that smells, so that's in a separate drawer. Because I don't want someone to get something that's supposed to go in their mouth and they're like, this tastes like Chanel No. 5. That'd be gross. More plastic shelving units. This one has like mostly crafts in it, like buttons and thread. Sewing items. More crafty items. And I started moving my pens and stuff over here. So we got pens, pencils, and markers all separated out. Bulky things. And then, let me see if I can get a good shot of what this actually is. You probably have these in your own home too right now. These are cubicles that you put those square canvas containers in that then later get ripped up and shredded and nasty. So we used to have these in our playroom, and that used to have kids' toys in it or kids' clothes in it and stuff like that. And we have repurposed it into the garage for storage. And you can see I've got more beauty over here, but then I also like to put breakable things on here, like this globe, and there's a lava lamp in there. Things like that I don't want to get broken. This unit has linens, some women's clothes, some men's clothes, and then there's 2 bins of shoes down here. I don't sell a whole lot of shoes, so that's plenty for me. Bags in here. And this has a lot of things that could stand up, like new and packaged linens, stuff like that. And then you'll notice that almost all of the containers that I am using are clear. I am working on getting them all into clear containers. I find that they are much easier to find what you're looking for versus an opaque container. So you can kind of like look to the side and see things, and I feel like things get lost in an opaque container. But again, more things I could stand up, like hosiery and fabric, rugs. I've got blankets down here, more bags. There's a few parts over here that I haven't migrated over to my other area yet. And then this bin of mostly G.I. Joe parts. You can see I like to hang up some of the nicer items like blazers and nicer jackets. I just try not to fold those up as much as possible if I can, keep them nice. See, here's another bag of track. I think I have that listed on Marketplace actually. And then more plastic drawers. This one has all jewelry, like watches and random jewelry and stuff like that. One more plastic drawer of toys, and this one I just started using, so I've got these 2 empty spots here so I can move some things around. So I've got like Barbie furniture, more dolls, more girls' toys like dolls and My Little Pony and stuff like that. So yeah, I do need to move like all the things together eventually, but I just wanted to show you things don't have to be perfect from the start. You can always move things around. So I have these ladders placed all over my storage unit so I can reach to the very top. And this is where the magic happens. All of my shipping boxes. It is quite the mess over here right now because I got a lot of packages and a lot of packing materials from neighbors over the holidays and Christmas, and I have nowhere to put it right now, but it's typically a lot nicer than this. But again, it works, it's fine. And then these last 2 units here are things that I need to list. And I know that looks full, but it's not. Some of these containers are empty. And then the bottoms do have packing materials. So this is all of my to be listed for the most part is on these 2 units. And then things like space bags and other bags and packing materials at the top. The tip top, I've got more packing materials up here, like these medical supply coolers. I use those for breakables. I love them. Absolutely fantastic. This is just all packing materials. It's all kind of scraps because of the stuff that, you know, people gave me that I'm recycling. So as you can tell, this is not a perfect system here. I have some dolls over here and got some dolls over there, but you know what? I can move things now that I've got more space in other areas. I've got parts over here and parts over there. That's okay. I think the key thing is as long as you know where your things are at, it's perfectly all right. Things aren't always going to fit in a perfect order. That's just not the way the world works with the containers that I have, or the space that I have, or the way the shelves are shaped. It is what it is, and as long as I can find things, I'm perfectly okay. Things do not have to be perfect. I did not start out with this. This is something that has changed over the years. In fact, I got, I think, 3 or 4 more of these shelving units, I think right before Christmas. So it's just kind of grown and grown. Right now I have about 2,500 items in here. I could probably fit another 500. I don't want to, but I probably could. So I hope that gave you some ideas. Please do not think this is something that you have to do. Don't think you need this kind of space. I did not have this kind of space until 4 years ago when we moved in this house. Before that, I had a shed, like a really nice outdoor shed. Wonderful outdoor shed, but it was outside. And then before that, I had just like a little Rubbermaid shed. And then before that, I was working out of a closet. And then before that, I was just working out of a couple totes. So start from where you're at and just kind of go from there and grow from there. You do not have to set up a perfect system from the start. Just start out with what works for you, and then hopefully with what you have. And then spend as little as you can so you can keep that money in your business and in your pocket. Anyway, so I hope this video answered your curiosity, your voyeuristic mind. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a great big thumbs up. If you're not already, please like and follow my channel. And I'll see you next time. Bye!